All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome into today's edition of In the Game. I am your host, Hustle, and as always, we're going to be diving into the markets. We're going to be diving into my research process. So I know a lot of people in the chat box, they always throw their coins at me. They always want me to take a look at certain projects. We will do that in this edition, but I am going to give you my 8-pillar research criteria to vet new tokens and figure out if they are going to be worthwhile for your investment, because obviously, we see meme coins pop up. We see tons of crypto gaming projects, but what projects are actually worth you getting involved with? We'll go over that in this edition and kind of give you my thought process on how I vet projects and how I actually, research and get involved in the ones that I have high conviction in. Let's get into it. Like the video down below and subscribe to the channel for more videos and coverage every single day here on Crypto Banter as well. Shout out to our sponsors here on In the Game. We have ByBit for all of your trading needs. Sign up for a ByBit account down below. NordVPN, always navigate securely throughout crypto. You can sign up for NordVPN down below as well. Check out Vulcan Forged. Vulcan Forged had some huge updates, which we will talk about in this edition briefly, as their Vulcan 3 conference was this weekend. They had some big stuff with AI, some more integrations, so we'll talk about that. Shout out to Vulcan Forged. And last but not least, SinVerse, what truly looks like the Grand Theft Auto of the Metaverse. Successful business license staking. They have their new business, like their, the weed farms and everything that they have going on inside the GTA of the Metaverse. So check out all of our sponsors down below. Now let's dive into it. And we're going to get right into it. We'll talk about the market just briefly. We're having a nice little bounce here off the news of the debt ceiling. We have a 2% here rise on Bitcoin over the last 24 hours. And short term, I could probably see this continuing. But then again, if the stock market starts pulling back hard, we could see Bitcoin also take a little bit of a hit there too. So always tread cautiously. I'm bullish probably for the short term until we hear more about this debt ceiling. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Vulcan Forge had a big weekend this weekend. They had their Vulcan 3. And this will really be the only news or recent current event coverage that we're going to have in this video. Is I'm going to give you a video you can come back to, over time, and you can actually take these research pillars and find low cap market cap tokens, new tokens that are actually gems and that you're able to take and use on your own to find projects that are worth your investment. But this weekend, we had Vulcan Forge with some key announcements at their conference. They had some massive speakers. They're evaluating AI for Metascapes, and I think this is awesome. They posted this video here. If I can get it to play. They posted this video here where basically you can type in on the side a prompt to be able to get your AI to create stuff inside the metaverse for you, as this video is for some reason not loading. So we'll come back to this. But right now, with their new plan for Metascapes, their AI, you can build metaverses on your own inside of Metascapes. It's a metaverse as a service platform, but there's also going to be prompts where you can say, build me this, this, and this, and then boom. In an instant, it constructs exactly what your mind and what the AI creates. So I thought that was awesome. They have Vulcan Fight League on the way, Metascapes V2 in alpha to be released in the next couple days. Vulcan 11, which is a fantasy soccer game coming real soon with cricket and soccer. New white paper release in the coming weeks. Animoca Brands and Vulcan Forge. 𝗕𝗏𝗄 became an Elysium Cronus node holder, which is the biggest node in the ecosystem. Decentraland and Vulcan Forge linking up. There's a lot of things going on here this weekend, and I was happy with the updates that were provided. Jamie and the team. So big shout out to Vulcan Forge. A big weekend at Vulcan 3. And it'll be interesting to see after June 5th with Apple VR if there's anything else that they will be teasing. Is show on earlier? Yeah, we're live Sunday morning. It's a weekend. It's not a normal day. And we're here to give you the playbook. So let's get into the core of the show. I'm not going to waste any time today. I'm not going to go over, coins that I'm bullish on. I'm going to give examples to some coins, but let's dive into my 8-pillar low cap or just new token research process. It doesn't have to be a low cap. You could stumble across any given token and throw this criteria at it, especially in the Web3 gaming space. I think this is critical, Web3 gaming, Metaverse, etc. But you can go through your entire watch list and actually vet tokens with this criteria. So we're going to start with number 1, which I think is the most obvious. What is it, right? What is the project? What are they building? Is it a game? Is it a game launcher? Is it a studio? Is it an SDK for games to plug in? So I think that's critical, right? Like when you look at Altura, they're an SDK, basically, that games can build NFTs into their products using the Unity SDK, using Unreal Engine, and be able to seamlessly integrate NFTs into their games without having to have blockchain experience. Wilder World, High Street, those are metaverses. Nakamoto Games is a game studio, game distributor, for example. So always like, what's the product and is it going to have a market fit? That's number 1. That's obvious, right? Number 2 is the team. You always want to back products that have quality teams. First and foremost, I dislike when a project doesn't dox their founders. And like, it's not all about doxing, but more about like, who is behind the project, what's their experience, and what have they built in the past. To me, in the Web3 gaming space, this is critical because we had some bad actors at the beginning of this industry, and they came through and they have no gaming experience. They have no real business experience. And unfortunately, like blockchain, there's no verification for that, right? It's not like the NASDAQ, or it's not like the traditional stock market where you have to go through this vetting process to get your project listed. No. Web3, there's no barriers. So that's the problem. Always vet the team, who's behind these projects. For example, like WAGMI Games, they have guys from Halo, from Bungie. They have guys from EA. They have so many top tier team members. Altura as well. I mean, a lot of these games and these projects have really good teams. And I'm referencing a couple of low cap tokens just to give you like the lower cap tokens that do fit these criteria. So just keep in mind on that. So product, obviously, first and foremost, number 1, what the heck does it do? Number 2 is the team. Who's building the project? What's their experience? Do they have biz dev, marketing experience? Have they built games in the past? Very critical. Number 3, tokenomics. So tokenomics, this is, I say it's number 3, but it's probably number 1 because we've seen good projects like 𝗕𝗎𝗓𝗋. Let's just say, for example, 𝗕𝗎𝗓𝗋, some projects may have not had a better bear market than 𝗕𝗎𝗓𝗋. And with the amount of games coming, the partnership with Polygon, there's about 200 plus games at this point building underneath 𝗕𝗎𝗓𝗋. Some of the best games in the space, right? Illuvium, Undead Blocks, Kiraverse, Guild of Guardians, WAGMI Games. There's so many quality projects coming into IMX, but unfortunately with the tokenomics, a lot of this is bear market conditions, yes, but with the tokenomics, with the consistent monthly unlocks and the fact that this market cap and the fully diluted are pretty different, it's caused some trouble for the token over time. And I mean, we've seen rises back up to like $1.50 here off of the Polygon announcement, but we've also seen those dips play out whenever those big token unlocks hit the market and the big liquidity hits the market. So tokenomics is really important, and I think that it might be number 1. It might be number 1 because there's quality projects out there with very bad tokenomics that suffer over time because of these unlocks and because of these conditions. I see in the chat box, you're forgetting 𝗓𝗕𝗓𝗔, 60% pump yesterday. I'm not going over the markets today. That's the thing. I'm not giving you the fish today. I'm teaching you how to fish. I'm teaching you exactly what I go through whenever I'm vetting a project to see whether it's worth my dollars. So awesome for 𝗓𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗓. Great pump. Scalability. Now, this is where we start to get into the nitty gritty a bit. Actually, I'll go with this couple that aren't these are pretty obvious here. So backers, I do look at who's investing in you, right? Like what kind of Are you bootstrapping the project out of pocket? Are you getting VC investments, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓𝗓, those big time, VC funds, or are you bootstrapping the project? And this is important to me, not from a name brand perspective, because let's just say, for example, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓𝗓 backs a lot of projects, right? They're a VC, and sometimes they do spray and pray, right? It's not like every single 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓𝗓 project is going to do well. No. But what it does enable is that project, has runway to build. That is the important part. We've seen some projects go under in this bear market. They ran out of money. They can't fundraise. They can't release another NFT and get more liquidity for their project. So this is massive for me, because whenever you have those top tier backers, it is almost a certainty that you're not going to run out of that runway unless the project is just really irresponsible and can't handle the VC capital. So backers to me is very important. Integrations and partners. Now, this is huge because what other projects are using your product, right? Like IMX is used very much virtual, around the space. Polygon's used very well, with their integrations and partners. Polygon's probably the best example here, honestly. If we go over to Polygon, the amount of projects that are partnered or integrated with Polygon tech, Starbucks, Reddit NFTs, all the big businesses that we don't even have to talk about the partnership level of Polygon. It's obvious, and it's being utilized in some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies in the world. So like Polygon is probably the best example of integrations and partners. But then if we go to a low cap circumstance, we see Altura working with Chronos, and then the amount of games coming to the platform, utilizing the Unreal Engine SDK, utilizing the Unreal Engine SDK, Unity SDK. This is something you want to see. Projects getting that adoption and those integrations from these projects. Solana has more daily active users than Matic. That's fine. They don't have business integration like Matic. You guys clearly aren't listening to the show, which is upsetting, because I'm giving you the playbook of exactly how I get involved in these low cap gems before they blow up. So I'm just telling you what to look for. Take it or leave it. Let's go back here to scalability. So integrations and partners is huge, as mentioned. I think Polygon's a good example. And then on a low cap standpoint, Altura is a really good example as, a project that's getting integrated into so many different brands, games, businesses, etc. So that's huge because other people are adopting it. Other people are using it and actually, building with those platforms. Let's go back here to scalability. This is huge. So scalability, this goes back to the product or niche. We haven't gotten to the niche or narrative, but scalability and niche are going to kind of run together here. So when I talk about scalability, I'm not talking about throughput, transaction speeds, blockchain scalability. I'm talking about from a business perspective. How can it scale, right? If it's let's just say, car racing game that is solely Formula One, that is solely on one console, PC, high-level gaming PCs. What's the scalability of that versus, let's just say, a game distributor or a game launcher like Ultra or Gala Games, for example? The scalability for them with tons of different projects, with tons of different applications you can use them on, iOS, Android, PCs, laptops even, right? So if you look at a product, how much adoption can it get based on its application? So if you are this AAA game in one small niche that only runs on the highest level 3090 graphics cards, you're probably not going to scale as well as something that is adoptable across all platforms. And then the same kind of thing, like let's just say IMX, Gala, Ultra, those are really scalable. We've seen it. They have hundreds of games on each of the platforms. Gala, they're moving towards, I think, 50 games coming to the platform. Last I heard Bitbender speak about that. So when you look at scalability, that is scaling, right? They have film, they have music, they have all these games underneath their ecosystem. So you want a project that can scale. You don't want something that is just in this really small niche and really going against this really small audience, the second that that audience leaves, there's no scalability there left, right? So you need to be able to actually scale up your business. So I look for that very closely. And that goes alongside the niche and the narrative, right? So the niche or narrative, when I speak about that, like Altura, like I said, is an SDK. This can be plugged in virtually and scale. We're seeing it scale live, right? If you just click on their recent media, the amount of partnerships, they are scaling at this moment in time. And that is due to the niche because they are providing the product. See how this all works together. The niche that they're in is scaling what they're doing because of the product they provide, these SDKs, white label marketplaces, smart NFTs, and the guard too to secure their future in Web3 games. And we're seeing these games coming to Altura, and they want that assistance. They want that technology. So that's huge. They're in a really good niche and a really good narrative because these games want to put in NFTs without having to have that back end headache. Wilder World, High Street, what narrative is that? That's the metaverse narrative, right? And I think the metaverse narrative has a ton of scalability. A ton of scalability. That's going to be something that is going to grow to one of the biggest industries in the world potentially over the next 5 to 10 years. So metaverse is the niche here, has a really good narrative. The narrative behind metaverse is hot right now with June 5th around the corner, Apple VR headsets. So I think that that's something you definitely should look out for on the market perspective, but really good niche with a lot of scalability. I mean, we have Zuck, we have Apple VR coming to the space. We have so many quality metaverse projects as in Web3. So definitely keep your eyes on that. Obviously, the narrative behind Web3 gaming speaks for itself. You know, 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗍, WAGMI Games. If you look at IMX, Vulcan Forged, that narrative is going to stick around for a long time. So you want to get involved in something that isn't played out. Like if it's already played its course, like DeFi Summer a few years ago, is that really going to catch that much fire again versus AI, versus gaming, versus metaverse, BRC, you know, the ordinals, for example? Like those are the narratives and the niches that are really hot. So if you go through all these pillars of research and then you see, oh, it's in an emerging narrative, that is going to be huge. That is going to be where it's the cherry on top. Like it's an AI project. It's got a lot of runway, a metaverse project, a gaming project. This has a lot of runway. The gold rush is coming. I'm going to be investing in the shovel manufacturers, 𝗓𝗨𝗚 all the way. I'm with you. That's how you get rich in a gold rush. It's not the gold miners, right? It's the ones that are selling them the shovels. Absolutely. And then last but not least, and that shouldn't be understated, is progress. So a lot of blockchain projects go missing in the bear market. And not in a good way, you know, like we're talking they go missing, like no tweets for a month, no tweets for 2 months, right? So on a simple form, you want your projects that you're investing in to stay active, to stay building, to stay updating you on their progress, whether it's Twitter, mediums, whether it's progress just inside of the ecosystem, right? Like Altura has made tremendous progress in this bear market. Polygon's made tremendous progress. Immutables made amazing progress. Yeah, exactly. Chaos. They go missing because of the runway, right? So the progress comes to a halt if they don't have the backers. And that's the common theme here, guys. These all work together. Like you can point at the other, like progress has a lot to do with runway. If the project doesn't have the backing or run down or the runway, then they're not going to keep making progress and they're going to disappear, right? And kind of same thing. If you're in a good niche or a narrative, your scalability is much higher than something like a DeFi yield farm, for example. So yeah, a lot of these run together, and that's the point of this research process. Additionally to the possibility of Apple introducing their VR, if they also mention that they are using render will skyrocket. Yeah, I agree. Render's at a good spot right now. Seems like Theta meets all the fundamental criterias. Yeah, Theta's a good product in an emerging niche. Great team. very good team, continuously making progress. They have fantastic backers. They do have good integrations and partnerships. The scalability of Web3 media is going to be huge in the future, and the tokenomics are pretty solid. So yes, I would say that that meets the criteria as far as this 8-pillar research process. And the last thing I'll say is you can use this stuff for upcoming projects. You can use this for, we have the GameSwift token coming up, 𝗔𝗠𝗏𝗡. They meet a lot of these criteria. Great niche, great product, great team, really good team. So this one definitely meets that criteria. The 𝗔𝗠𝗏𝗡 token isn't even live yet. So you can still use this to vet projects that are up and coming and around the corner. 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏 has their Sparta token coming live very soon. This will be the DeFi kingdoms of Arbitrum, for example. And yes, it's DeFi, so to speak, but it does have a lot of gamified layers inside of it. And I actually think the niche and narrative here fit really well because it's underneath the Arbitrum narrative. And it's going to be one of the first gamified yield platforms underneath Arbitrum. So this has a lot of runway. We have another Web3 gaming infrastructure launching with Dega, with their ISPO. So, you know, you can use this to vet upcoming projects. You can use this to see, you know, okay, who's the team? Who's building this, right? So it's really important to be able to find that information, and you can use this before tokens go live, you know, because tokens like 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, they show you their tokenomics. You can see the product, you can see what they're building. So really important to have a process. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is the perfect research process. But I will tell you that this is exactly how I source and I find low market cap or just gems in general across the Web3 gaming space, in a space with so much crap. All right. In a space with so much crap that just have no utility beyond, like, no competence. The team's terrible. The product's BS. It's fake. They don't make a game. Like, there's so much BS in the Web3 gaming space. This right here has helped me find a lot of success in early tokens, as well as just vetting overall the products that are going to make it out of this bear market. Gene, everyone knows 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is the gem. Maybe stop sleeping on it. I agree. If you're talking about 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, yes, I believe so. Paid shills, sad. There was not a single paid shill in this video. I'm a huge fan of Polygon, Altura, Wilder World, High Street, Naka, WAGMI, 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, GameSwift, all these upcoming launches, Vulcan Forged. Yeah, there's not a single paid shill in this video, but hey, I get it. If you're gonna take it that way, then you know, go for it. Did DeFi Kingdoms do that well? Oh gosh, did DeFi Kingdoms do that well? Well, now they're way down, but yes, they did. They went from $7 up to $22 in the, you know, and this was after the bull run. Bitcoin was coming down and DeFi Kingdoms was still going up. They had some emission problems, you know, with this being the rewards token, but that's what products have to innovate on. They have to watch what other projects do wrong, and then they need to innovate on it. So at one point, this was the hottest DeFi game out there. But now, you know, it's definitely down in the dumps. But I think that if done right, 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 could pull it off on Arbitrum for sure. Go back here. All right. Games for a living. Yeah, like I said, I really like that project, guys. I do. My only drawback would be this right here. Big, fully diluted. Only 5% of the circulating supply out there. Throughout a bear market, it could take some hits. But at this market cap here, it's undervalued. I like the product. I like the team. I like what they're doing. But for me, the tokenomics part of it, that's where I would have my hiccup. Like if I'm going through this process, this is the hiccup right here. So what about 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏? The team looks really good. Yeah, I've we'll pull up some and we'll kind of go through them. So I've seen this one. I was on a Twitter space with these guys actually last week. Game looks good. Their whole ecosystem really looks well tied together, I would say. Yeah, I do like 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I think that potentially with the market circumstances that we could also see this come down a bit. Only 25% of the circulating supply. It's not great, but a lot of potential here. When I was hearing the team speak about it on the Twitter Spaces last week, it was very, very strong. 𝗕𝗏𝗓𝗓. Yeah, 𝗕𝗏𝗓𝗓 actually checks a lot of those boxes. As much of a meme coin as it does sound like, they have a good product. So we'll go back to the chart here. They have a good product. They have a good team. Their tokenomics aren't terrible. Scalability, questionable. I would say questionable. Integrations and partners are fantastic. They got Polygon. They did a lot of collaborations recently for their mint, so that's good. They do have really good backers, actually. The narrative gaming is good. Meme, good at sometimes. We've seen meme coins have their day. So, yeah, that's... They kind of play into both of those narratives. And if the meme coin narrative is hot and if gaming's hot at the same time, I could see it do really well. And then the progress, their game looks awesome. They just had their mints. Yeah, I mean, it checks a lot of the boxes. Veracity, definitely. Veracity, I think, checks every single one of these boxes. The one that people would probably try to say that they don't is the tokenomics. But when you look at the fully diluted market cap here, let's go Veracity. These aren't being sold. So what they did, they locked and printed a ton of new tokens, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, but they will never be sold. They will never be utilized for anything but inside the ad stack technology. So they did eliminate that FUD, and the market caps here, you shouldn't have too much of a worry on, because a lot of them will never hit the market. That's the part of their tokenomics. So yes, Veracity meets like every single thing here. Fantastic project. S Fund or Ultra or both. I think if you want more of an explosive run in the bull market, S Fund is going to be your bet there, but Ultra is going to do really well as well. They're both going to have really good runs, in my opinion. 𝗕𝗏𝗊𝗏. 𝗕𝗏𝗊𝗏. I think the only good things about 𝗕𝗏𝗊𝗏 at this point were the narrative of memes. So narrative. Tokenomics were okay. And then scalability. 𝗕𝗏𝗊𝗏 was able to scale very fast. So don't fade 𝗕𝗏𝗊𝗏𝗏, but that's funny. MetaStrike. Yeah, game looks good. They're integrating on a lot of platforms. The tokenomics are all right. Good product. But a lot of this show, what it leads you to fall into, and not in a bad way, it makes you want to bet on the upcoming Epic games, the Riot games, the Activision, etc. You want to get involved in those huge companies that integrate these games and are pushing tons of products. Because imagine how many VCs have lost money trying to pick the next Fortnite or the next Pokemon or the next this World of Warcraft, RuneScape. That is a sucker's game to go out here and pick one by one. This game's going to fly. This game's going to fly. Now, there are winners out there. You're going to be able to find great individual game tokens over time. Do not get me wrong, and I've had success doing it too. But at the same time, it's going to be much more fruitful for you to get on the platforms, the studios, the distributors, the mainstream gaming blockchains that are going to be pushing out hundreds, if not thousands of games over the year's time. That's how you're going to win, in my opinion. AVAX, I'm super bullish. When to buy Myria? Not anytime soon, in my opinion. Reason being is the node emissions. So every single day, there's tons of tokens going out to the node holders. Yeah, like it's down another 20% this week. Tokenomics, honestly, I'm going to be honest, are terrible. 4 million to 120 million, only 4% of the tokens are on the markets. So yeah, not anytime soon. I hate to break it to you. My Pet Hooligan token release coming soon. Yep, I'm really looking forward to the Carrot token. I've had all my hooligans staked since day one, so I've been stacking up the carrots. I'm ready for it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I would take a screenshot of this chart, or I would bookmark this video. Yeah, Nepal, I agree. The Myria tokenomics are rough, to say the least. I would screenshot this. I would bookmark this video to come back to if you need a research process. I'm not going to call it bulletproof, but for me, it's been bulletproof. When I put this in place, and if they meet at least 6 to 8 of these criterias, typically it will equate to a really good opportunity for the future. And I would definitely keep something like this handy, or craft your own. Take what I've given you today and just craft it to what you prioritize and figure out exactly how you are going to vet projects. Because I'm telling you, when upcoming games like Spartadex, perfect example of, right? We're looking at the tokenomics. We've seen what the product's going to be. We've seen their NFT launch success. They have a fantastic community. They have awesome backers. Like, you're able to vet these before they even come to market. So definitely have a process, even if it's not mine. Find what works for you and run with it. Because running into the next bull, if you can put this in play and get involved in tokens early or during the bear, you're going to reap those rewards in the bull. And this process is going to come in handy for you in that time period. Like the video, subscribe for more. I'll be back tomorrow on Monday with another video. As always, play well, my friends.